everyone, it's Sheila Hollins-Jackson from CompletelyFlawless.com. This week I'm going to give you what I believe are the essentials in photo shoot etiquette. So you booked your first photo shoot, you're super excited, and you want to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Here are my top tips for getting through a photo shoot flawlessly. So the first thing you want to remember as a makeup artist or a hairstylist or a wardrobe stylist is that you are a part of a team. You're a part of a collaborative effort. And that leads me into my next tip, which is that you want to remember who you are hired by. Now let's say for instance you're hired by a photographer and the model is hired by the photographer is shooting for a specific reason, he has a specific vision in mind that he wants you to be a part of creating. Because obviously he hired you because he felt that you could create that vision for him. Now you may do it and the model may not like it. She may think that the makeup is ugly. But the important part here is that your client, which in this case is the photographer, if he's happy with your work, then that is success, because you want whoever your client is to be happy with the work. If you listen to models sometimes, they may not like something, but if they're not the ones who are hiring you, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And the same thing vice versa, if you're hired by a model, you want to make sure that they are happy. A lot of times makeup artists will do really great artistic over-the-top work and it looks fantastic, but you know what? If it's not what the client wanted, you have failed. So you want to make sure that you keep your client's interest at heart at all times. So the next thing is be attentive. Be attentive. You want to work swiftly and you also want to work before asked. After you have done the initial application of the makeup, you want to make sure that you're watching, making sure that if you need to step in for touch-ups or if things need to be adjusted. And you want to try to do those things before you're asked. Another thing, and this goes for photo shoots as well, and it's even more important when we talk about set etiquette, which I will do a separate video on that. But you do want to make sure that, again, since it's a collaborative effort, you have lots of different people who are playing lots of different roles. So you want to make sure that whenever you're going to step in to do something, that you do announce that you are going to be stepping in to make changes or whatever, just so that you're not interrupting, you know, the photographer. The photographer's trying to get a certain shot and you're just stepping in. You want to make sure that you let him know that, so that everyone's on the same page. Number 3, and this goes for photo shoot etiquette and set etiquette, never touch another artist's work. Just don't do it. It's not a good look. You wanna, if you see something that's going wrong with another department's work, if it's something that you just feel you don't think looks good, I wouldn't say anything. If it's something that, you know, there's a problem or, you know, a wardrobe malfunction or something that needs to be pointed out, pull the stylist over to the side, or whoever, you know, the situation is, pull the person over to the side and, you know, quietly let them know, you know, that you saw something, you know, in case they, you know, weren't aware of it. Do it in such a way where it's a, you know, a friendly, you're helping the person out type of way. Don't do it as in, you know, you're trying to upstage them or call someone out. And also don't do it loudly. If you see something that the photographer has missed or a stylist has missed or whoever has missed, don't like shout it out, especially, you know, in front of, you know, a client. If you're working with a photographer for a client, you don't want to point something out that may make him not look as good or whatever. So make sure that you do it discreetly and when necessary. But don't just go ahead and touch someone else's work. Let them handle that. Number 4, 2011 was the year of horrible set etiquette. Like, oh my goodness. We had Nicki Minaj's background dancer on Twitter tweeting pictures and tweets about the Super Bass video. We had someone on the Tyler Perry Studios who was posting pictures of the set don't do that. Do not take pictures of the set. Do not take video unless you have asked and you have the permission to do so. Don't be a groupie. Like, don't be a groupie. If you're, you know, it's great to work with people we admire or celebrities, but they're people and you're there to do a job. You're there to be professional. You're a professional, so don't go and be a groupie. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, but you want to just make sure that you're not taking pictures of people, just walking around. And I've seen people do this, and I just think that it's so disrespectful. And people do notice it. So don't just walk around taking pictures. You don't know. Maybe it's something that hasn't, maybe it's something that's not supposed to be released yet. Maybe this is something that they're working on for a company, and the launch date hasn't come out yet. You don't know. You don't want to put something out in the world that you don't even know the whole thing behind. It may be something that's not even ready to be put out there yet. So be respectful. You know, don't take pictures and videos without being asked. If you get the permission to do so, and if you want to go ask the permission to do so, you feel so inclined to, that's one thing. But, you know, don't, you know, be respectful. Be respectful of the whole team. Number 5, cell phones off. That should go without saying. Don't talk on your cell phone during a shoot. You're there to work. It's the same thing if you worked in an office. Like, if you work in an office, you would not talk on your phone all day. So don't do that at a shoot. Text messaging, you know, and if you need to take a, you know, if you need to check on your children, or, you know, take a phone call or something, you know, do it on a break or something. If you have to do a quick text message or something like that, do it quickly. Don't sit there texting the whole time, because if you're texting and you're doing all this other stuff, you are not paying attention to your client. And so that goes back into the work swiftly and before asked. Okay, so make sure that you are paying your attention to your client. Another thing, don't bring children or your entourage to the shoot. Don't do this. First off, children, I don't have children myself, and I know sometimes it's hard to find babysitters and all of that, but the reality of it is, if you worked in an office, you wouldn't bring your children to work. So don't do it at a photo shoot. Just because, you know, you're working with artistic people, there still has to be a level of professionalism. And, you know, we're talking about thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and you have, I've seen people bring children to sets and they're pulling on lights and trying to pull stuff down and playing with stuff and interrupting the shoot. If everyone else is there to be professional and be focused on the task at hand, you should be too. And a part of that is just not bringing your kids to the set. Also, your entourage, don't bring a bunch of people, especially, or don't bring anyone really. I mean, especially like, you know, you're working with a celebrity or something, you're like, oh girl, I'm about to work with so-and-so, and, you know, come along with me. Don't do that. I mean, you're there, again, you're a professional. I cannot stress professionalism enough. Like, just don't do it. You know, if you got the opportunity to work with someone, that's great and everything, but that doesn't mean you need to bring all of your homegirls to the set. Don't do it. Number 8 is, or number 8, I don't even know if I even did numbers, but be on time. You want to be on time. You'll find that, especially with models tend to not be on time. Photo shoots tend to never start on time. It's just the nature of the business. You know, it's just the way it is. But be on time, so that way if someone, if the photographer is like, you know what, I'm sitting here waiting on the model, at least he can't be able to say, okay, I'm sitting here waiting on the model and the makeup artist and the hairstylist too. At least if you were there, it just shows your initiative. And even you think, okay, what's the point of me being there if everyone else ain't gonna be there on time? Well, the point of the matter is that a lot of times you're not just, you have to think beyond what you're doing at that moment, okay? So let's say you're working on a project and the model is not on time, but you're on time. The photographer is going to make a mental note of that. So when it comes time when he has to work with another client, he said, remember, okay, that's someone who's gonna show up on time. That's someone who's gonna be reliable. Okay, so you don't want to, don't lump yourself into a category with people who don't take their work seriously. So those are my top tips for etiquette. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I will get to them as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching as always, and see you guys later. I'll see you guys next week actually for another Pro Series video. So talk to you guys later. Bye. For those of you who are just watching, or if you want a refresher, here is a playlist of all the prior How to Become a Makeup Artist series videos.